This past October, IKEA introduced a new version of its Billy bookcase series. Are you guys familiar with the book Billy? Maybe you had a couple, maybe you slept with somebody who had a couple. They're nothing fancy, but they are perfectly sized to hold your own precious collection. Your Cryptonomicon, your design of everyday things, your fucking epic Twitter account of @Manuel, and all of the books that have shaped the whole line of your life. Now, the new Billies are sized a little bit bigger than your average book because, as The Economist reported, IKEA reckons that customers will increasingly use bookshelves for ornaments, tchotchkes, and the odd coffee table tome, anything that is except books that are actually read. Now, there are often comments that cause the entire internet to explode, and the day after this article ran in The Economist, everybody was talking about bookshelves, most of them saying that, that this was verifiable proof that print is dead. So, a few months ago, I put out a short story collection through the Joyland digital imprint at ECW Press. And all of a sudden, I had a front row seat. Thank you. I had a front row seat to the fight between print and digital publication. People, it is brutal. It is Daniel versus Johnny. It is werewolf versus spies. It is people who love their e-readers because they store more stuff and they glow in the dark. And people who love their books because you can write in the margins and they smell so goddamn good. But people, the thing is, I don't care what my words smell like. And I don't care if they glow in the dark. I care about the stories that they're telling. A quick tangent here. When I was a kid, I had a mild obsession with Inspector Gadget, the cartoon series about the cyborg detective. He had this niece, Penny, right? And I totally wanted to be her because, one, she was a genius, and at 8 years old, I thought I was. And two, she had a really smart dog. And three, she had a computer that was also a book. I have wanted an iPad since I was 8 years old. I am so excited about this. As a writer, I can't wait for the possibilities. And as a college writing teacher, I am so excited about the possibilities for my students to have jobs. But most importantly, as a reader, I'm so excited about all these new voices that I have access to. Just talking about this stuff almost makes my brain explode all over the Innovation Center. But really, before I do that, I need to give you one more tangent, which is, in high school, I was the kind of geek who would cut class in order to go to the library. And I have this clear memory of reading Richard Wright's Black Boy, and it was the scene where Richard is he gets a library card for the first time, and he's reading novels, and all of a sudden he can understand people who are different than himself. And for me, this little small town girl in this tiny town, able to connect with an adult man in Jim Crow South, it opened up the entire world to me, and people, that is a fucking gift. And that's what books have always been for me. A gift, but not because of ink on a page, and not because of typeface on a screen. What I'd like to do today is call a ceasefire between print and digital publication. If even for a week we can have both, and maybe then we can use the time to talk about the stories that they're actually telling. For the past several years, I've worked for a personal narrative storytelling series called Second Story, and we tell stories in bars all around the country, and I've been amazed again and again to see the connections that happen between people with the sheer simple act of sharing a story. Earlier today, Jim told a story about his daughter and fairies that made me need to have to run outside and call my dad. In a session about play earlier, all of us were connecting around that game we played when we were kids about don't touch the floor. And in the parenting session earlier, Ari, who's having a kid next spring, asked all of us if his life was really seriously going to change. And you could look around the room and see 50 people remembering what our lives were like before we had kids. We were all of us connecting. That's what stories do. They help us connect, and who cares what they're printed on? Who cares if you hear them out loud or if you read them on the page? What we should be caring about is that they're coming at us like gifts, and we become better because of them. I really need to tell you that my favorite thing on the internet right now is bookshelfporn.com. Have you guys seen this thing? It's the sexiest fucking thing on the internet. You can get bookshelves that like wrap around your whole house, and then the little wheelie ladders that spin around. They're awesome. And when I am a rich woman someday, I'm gonna wallpaper my whole house in this shit. But until then, I'll buy the Billies. You know, they're nothing fancy, but I can put my iPad on them. Right next to my own precious collection, my Kafka, my Marquez, my Richard Wright, and all the books that have made me who I am today. And at the end of it all, I'm kind of excited that IKEA is making the shelves bigger. I'll be able to put more books on them.